Sukanthi Radha and their children. This is the method of celebrating or appreciating the glories of Purushottam Maas. You invite the devotees, you have Krishna Katha, you have Kirtan, and of course, last but nobody likes the Prasadam part. Alright, today I was going to ask you, there's three things we can speak about. We can speak about Purushottam Maas, we can speak about Bilva Mangala Thakur, anybody knows what that is? Or we can speak a little bit on the song Chaurastika. Or we can just try to give a little bit of everything. In order to understand it, you need to know the author. But so that was the impetus in his heart for him to write that. So Bilva Mangala Thakur was the one who wrote this beautiful song. And I hope you got about 4 or 5 hours. Prashadam. No, I'm joking. Anyway, see, we'll start off with Bilva Mangala Thakur. Now, Bilva Mangala Thakur, anybody knows who he is? Right. So, a quick introduction of Bilva Mangala Thakur. He was a Brahmin which got enticed by a society girl. Her name was Chintamani. So, what happened is that he was constantly meditating and thinking about her consistently all the time. To the extent that even on his father's death, while they were doing the Shraddha ceremony, the last ceremony, and they were about to cremate him, he was impatient for it to finish so he can leave and he can go to Chintamani across the river. So he really wanted to go to her. He just constantly meditated and thought about her, even to the extent that when his father was leaving, as a son, he wasn't doing the proper samskars for his father, just wanted to go. And so effectively he rushed the ceremony, and then as he was about to leave, a terrible thunderstorm started. And but still, even though there was a terrible thunderstorm, he went to the banks of the river, and there was no boats there because of the turbulence of the river. And you know, his desire was so deep that he grabbed onto a log and he swam across the river. Getting towards the other end, he realized it wasn't a log, it was actually a crocodile. It was a crocodile. So, you know, he was so blinded by this feeling that he grabbed onto the crocodile. He went over there, and because it was such a bad night, they locked the gates. So Chintamani locked the gates, not expecting anyone to come. And so when he got there, he climbed over the tall fence, grabbing onto a rope. But when he looked carefully, that rope was a snake, a venomous snake.
I'm gonna open it.
So he got across, he got there, and then he, so Chintamani said, wow, it's such a big endeavor you made to come and see me. She was surprised and said, if you have the same amount of desire, same amount of intensity, same amount of stress that you put into coming and see me, if you transfer that to the Supreme Lord, you'll be so much more benefited and you'll be so lucky. And, you would be your life will become all opulent. And so that played in his heart. That so much of intensity, so much of desire, so much of effort into getting to Chintamani, if he transferred that to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he would become a pure devotee. So after a while he realized, and so he decided he'll walk to Vrindavan. So he walked for a long time. Those days they used to walk rather than, there was no cars or taking buses or planes or whatever, so he walked. On the way while walking, he stopped at the bank of a river and he saw a lady picking up water from the river. So, and then he was, attracted to her. He followed her home, and those days, because he was a mendicant, was a brahmana, when a brahmana comes to your house, whatever they desire, you will fulfill the desire, you will give it to them. So he said, I wanted to spend time with your wife. So the householder, the Grihastha, made a facility, and then so he got to the lady of the house, and he asked her to open up her hair and give him the hairpins. So he took the hairpins, and he said that if my eye takes its sight away from Krishna and attracts me elsewhere, then what is the use of having such a eye? And then he gouged out both his eyes. He poked out both his eyes. He blinded himself. And he went to Vrindavan, and For a long time, he performed bhajan. Now, the song that we sing for this month of Purushottam, we glorify songs about Krishna in Vrindavan. So one of the songs that we sing is called the Chaurastikam. Now, Chaurastikam is a very nice, beautiful song that was written by Bilva Mangal Thakur in his height of his Krishna consciousness, in high realization. So he wrote this song. But the thing is that in order to appreciate the song, you need to appreciate the words of the song, the value, the intense value. So today we'll just give an overview of that. If first you sing a song, if you come from the Lord and you sing a song, it's Sangita. It's an ordinary song. It's just, you might appreciate the tones or the musical value of it, if you do not understand the words. But if you understand the words, then it becomes bhajan. So therefore, like great devotees, when they used to sit and they used to meditate on Supreme Personality of Godhead, they used to have a bhajan kuti. Doesn't mean they sit and sing the whole day. It's because they sit and meditate on the Lord. That's why it's called a bhajan kuti. So if you just sing and you appreciate the tone of the song and the musical composition of the song, then it is Sangita. Therefore, it's very important when we sing songs to the Lord, it's good to know the words of the song, the meaning of the song, the in-depth value of the song, so that when you sing from your heart, you sing with the intense feeling, not just from the tongue. Make sense? And so when we sing even the Gaura Arati and stuff, so if you know the translation, then it has more meaning and it comes with more feeling. Now, all of you know the value or the merits or the meaning of the month of Purushottam. Anybody who doesn't know? So maybe I'll just cover that very quickly for the benefit of those. So what happened is, I'm going pretty fast because of the time consensus, is that at the dawn of creation, the Lord created an extra month. Because what happens is that in the English calendar we go by the solar year. We go as the sun goes around, so we have January, February, March and so forth. But the Vaishnava point of view, we go by the lunar calendar. So the difference between the solar calendar and the lunar calendar is, in a solar year, there's 365 and a quarter days. In the lunar year, there's 354 days in the lunar year. So what happens every year, there's 11-day difference. So if it is left to continue like that, it'll go out of whack completely, in about 3.5 years. And in the Vaishnava calendars, each month is a personality. It's not just like January, Janus means, January came from the word Janus. Janus means forked tongue. It means somebody who cannot be trusted, forked tongue like a snake. So that's how the January, February, March come about like that. But in the lunar calendar, each month is named after the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's a difference between the lunar calendar and the solar calendar. So what happened is, through providence, an extra month was created. So this extra month was called Adhik Maas. Adhik Maas meaning extra, additional. But what happened is, because it's an extra month, during the month, it's an inauspicious time to perform karma kanda, meaning fruitive activities. So at that time, what happens is, there's no samskars that can be performed during this month. And so that month became known as Malmas, very inauspicious month to do anything, to start anything, do any samskar, to do anything in that month was Malmas. So, and Malmas means inauspicious, untouchable, very untouchable, like stool. So all the other months used to criticize her. Everyone used to mock her. Everyone used to laugh at her. Everyone used to ostracize her. Because she was like stool, no one used to touch her. So she felt very, very bad, and it hurt her very much. So she went and spoke to Lord Brahma. And she told Brahma, this is my condition. You're my father, so you have to make some provisions. So he said, I don't know what to do. Let's go and see Lord Vishnu. So they went to Lord Vishnu, and she was crying at Lord Vishnu, and she was crying. She fainted to the extent that Garuda had to flap his wing to bring her back. So then they said, okay, listen, it's beyond my scope of resolution. So we have to take it up to the higher half with the. So they said, okay, come, let's go to Golok Vrindavan. So they went to Golok Vrindavan. When they went to Golok Vrindavan, what happened is Krishna came out It's quite an extensive story behind it, where how Krishna was telling the story to the Pandavas when they were in exile. So when they were in exile, they went in a forest in Vrindavan called Kamyavan. And while they were there, Krishna came to visit them, and Krishna was telling them, you know what, I'm very, very saddened to see the state that you're in. You're the emperors of the world, and you're living as paupers, as mendicants. And he was so angry that he was prepared to destroy the entire universe. He says, I cannot see this happen. I'm prepared to destroy the whole universe for the sin that has come upon you. But then Yudhishthira stopped him and said, don't destroy the universe, but destroy the feelings in our heart. Our bad feelings, our anarthas within our heart. So Krishna then Krishna was reciting the story. That see, there's Adhik Maas to birth. And so then they came to him in Golok Vrindavan. So Mahavishnu brought them to Golok Vrindavan. So when they came to Golok Vrindavan, Krishna said, nobody cries in Golok Vrindavan out of sadness. Vaikuntha means free from misery, free from sadness. So nobody comes and cries over here. So what happened is then, so Krishna blessed Mahavishnu and said, your glories and fame will be widespread for bringing this matter to me. So then when Adhik Maas expressed a great troublesome life and her tribulations, then Krishna said, no problem. But you came to me for one thing, and I can't just give you one thing. Whenever you go to Krishna, Krishna will give you an abundance. When you pray to Krishna and you offer one thing to Krishna, Krishna will give you back with his 1,000 hands. How much can your 2 hands take? So effectively, Krishna said, okay, immediately this is what will happen. From today, I'll give you all my Shakti. So from today, I will take away your name, and instead of being called Malmas, from today you'll be called by my name. I will give you my name. So Krishna said, better than that, I will marry you. I'll accept you as my wife. And when I accept you as my wife, you become part of me. Whatever is mine is yours. Including me, even my name will become your name. So at that time, Krishna gave the name Purushottam. So Krishna is always Purushottam. In Treta Yuga, Krishna is known as Lord Ramachandra. Right? Ramachandra is what? Maryada Purushottama. Right? In Dwapara Yuga, Krishna is known as what? Leela Purushottam. Right? And in Kali Yuga, Krishna is known as what? Chaitanya Prabhu. And what's that? Prema Purushottam. So Krishna gave this month all his glories, all his opulences, all his Shakti, and all his Bhakti. So whoever, and he also said that whoever follows Vrat in this month, I will come personally, grab them by the hand, and I'll take them back to Godhead. But before doing that, even while they're living in this life, I will give them all the opulence, I'll give them a happy life. So opulence does not mean happiness. Opulence does not mean, if you think I have a lot of money, you show me one rich man that's happy. So he said, I'll make sure that you're happy in this life, and at the end of this life, I will take you by the hand and I'll lead you, not to Vaikuntha, not to Dwarka, but to Golok Vrindavan. So we're very fortunate in we have this opportunity, is that if by doing a little something during this month, that we can get the highest opportunity of going back home, back to Godhead. So devotees take the opportunity now of serving the Vaishnavas, offering lamb, singing the nice songs, glorifying Krishna in Vrindavan. So what happened is, so in this month, all auspicious things happen. Whatever is done is auspicious. No more malmas. So there is no sukriti in this month. Sukriti means pious and impious activity. So you can't do any karma kanda and you get this benefit, becoming a Brahma, or getting that opulence and stuff. There's nothing this month. In this month, everything is null and void, and all you get is only spiritual benefit. So it's ideal for Vaishnavas to take advantage of this month, because it's just power-packed with spiritual advancement, with bhakti and shakti of the Lord. It's just power-packed. Nothing is there. No hindrance is there. Nothing on the material platform is there to stop us from going back to Godhead. So basically, the thing is that whatever is impediment to going back to Godhead is inauspicious. Or it's going to be garbage. So whatever is there, whether it can be a car, a TV, opulence, or whatever, as long as it's a stop in purifying our existence, right? So it's considered to be garbage. So the thing is that during this month, we don't want to perform pious activities to get garbage. And then we'll compete, my neighbor, he's got a BMW, I got a Mercedes, so my garbage is better than your garbage. Make sense? So basically, whatever we get in this material world, whatever we try to enjoy in this material world, there is no taste in this material world. There's no happiness in this material world. Therefore, it's known as pursuit of happiness. Whenever you achieve what you think will give you happiness, it doesn't bring you happiness. The new iPhone, and then you want the latest iPhone, because the current one doesn't give you happiness. So we cannot achieve happiness in this material world. And that's why it's a pursuit of happiness. So if we want, it's like a fish out of water. If we're looking for happiness, and we're looking for it in this material world, all the holidays, all the parties, all the fancy cars, all the big friends, everything that we have, ultimately will be the source of our distress. Big bank balance, how it will be a source of your distress. A massive house, how will be a source of your distress? Anybody knows how? Ultimately, Krishna has to come, right? And at the end of this life, Yamunaj will come with, and in this song it's mentioned there. So he comes with the rope and they grab you and take you away, right? But at the time of death, you'll think about all the money you got in your bank, all the fancy cars you got, all the big friends that are supposed to be there while you have the money only, because the money is gone, the friends are gone, right? All these things will be painful as hell, excuse the pun, when you're going back to God, when at time of death. Because you're not going back to the listening, you're going to go back to suffering further. So even though we may think that all these things we're accumulating is there for our enjoyment, it's actually there for ultimate suffering. Both punya and sin, right, is of the same nature. It's just suffering. As long as it's do with this material nature, suffering and enjoyment, sukha dukkha is the same in this material world. So to go back to God, that we need to just spiritualize our activities. Because that's where our true happiness lies. It's like a fish out of water. When a fish is in water, it's in its constitutional position. If you take it out of water and buy him a Mercedes, a nice big screen TV, you give it a nice international holiday, you think the fish is going to be happy. So we are out of our element. So whatever we look for happiness and joy in this material world will be ultimately the source of our suffering. So that now the reason I tell you that is that Bilva Mangala Thakur, in his height of his spiritual maturity, he started realizing this. And then he wrote this song called Chorastikam. Now, everyone will think, hey, you guys worshipping a thief. What is this worshipping a thief? It seems contradictory. So Benedict of everything, but thief, I don't understand. So does anybody have a song copy of that? I think I got it as well, but let me see. So the thing is that Bilva Mangala Thakur, what happened one day, he was sitting on the bank, and Krishna used to come. Krishna is a very, very big prankster. So he used to come, and when Bilva Mangala was blind and old and he couldn't move, he used to come and touch Bilva Mangala Thakur, and Bilva Mangala Thakur used to dance in great ecstasy, being touched by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then when Bilva Mangala Thakur used to try to grab Krishna, the little boy Krishna used to run away. And his heart used to be empty and he used to suffer with, greatly heartbroken heart. So much of suffering. So in that way, for a long time, Krishna used to play games with Bilva Mangala Thakur. He used to throw him into great happiness and then great distress, spiritual distress. That, now I've lost the love of my life. And so that's why he wrote this song. The song was actually not written but compiled by Bilva Mangala Thakur in this great love of ecstasy. So what happens is the Lord loves it when you speak to him in direct loving relationship. Like the example being was like when Radharani was there and Krishna used to come close, Radharani says, don't come close to me. So what does that mean? Yes, don't come close to me. So Krishna used to love with Radharani, used to talk to her like that. So don't come close to me means please come close to me. You understand? So this song is written. It could be a little bit confusing for those that are new to the culture, but you must understand it's the highest level of love. So Krishna has been described now as a thief, but what kind of thief is he? Right? The verse 1 sings. So like I told you, like if we do not understand the value or the meaning of a song, it is Sangita. And somebody sings in sweet tones, we'll appreciate it so much, but not understand the true value of it. And then it won't really penetrate into our heart and have a lasting feeling. We might understand only the two. So the first verse says, I offer pranams to the foremost of thieves. He is famous in Braja as the butter thief. Now, Braja is very important. Why is it called? What is Braja? What's the meaning of Braja? Okay, quickly because of time is there. If anybody knows, it means walking or moving. So in Vrindavan, everyone is moving. Everyone's moving. They're always having pastimes in Krishna's times, in this kund, in that. So between the different forests of Vrindavan is a long distance. But you'll find that Krishna having a pastime now in one forest, and in a couple hours later in another forest, and Radharani meeting in another forest, and you think, how did they walk and go so far? So Purnamasi used to actually make arrangements that is to make it very close. Like if you take a piece of paper from one end to the other end, it's quite a distance. But Purnamasi used to do that. And to make it so close that you should get very easily from one end to the next, from one end of the forest to the next, and to have the morning pastime in one forest, middle pastime in another forest, afternoon pastime in another forest, and it was just short distances, but constantly walking. So and now up to now we do Pande Yatra, we walk Braj Mandala Parikaram, we walk for 1 month during Kartik into different forests of Vrindavan. It's worth mentioning now that this month of Purushottam is so auspicious that it's 1,000 times more beneficial and auspicious than even Kartik, which is the most auspicious month of the year. So the benefit one gets during the month of Purushottam is inconceivable. So I often pronounce the foremost of these, who is famous in Braja as the butter thief, who steals the gopis' clothes. Now, this is a very misunderstood pastime. Because see, the thing is that when we see pictures depicted, understand that this pastime, we see the gopis at the age of about 24, 25. But in all of our books, it says that these are kumaris. What does kumari mean? Up to the age of 5. So when up to the age of 5, there's no misunderstanding. There's no this and that. You leave it.
Sorry, thank you for what is so good.
Take prasadam before
Oh,
you go.
good. Thank
Take
you.
some prasadam before you go. Yeah. So so the gopis' clothes used to be stolen. Now, why the gopis' clothes used to be stolen? And why is it that all our great acharyas and our parampara, that's why it's so important that we have the right parampara, proper discipline, succession. They always, their tongues used to vibrate with the glories of the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. And these are all renounced Vaishnavas. They renounce all this. They are Babajis. Why would they talk about the relationship between boy and girl if it was on the material platform? But what happens is the gopis' clothes is that you must understand they're young girls, and what they did was after the Kartik month comes the month of, who knows? What month comes? I know there's a Katyayani Maas. Katyayani Maas.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we have a
Yes, I know there's maybe another name for it. Yes.
amongst you.
Yes. Yes. So it's Katyayani Maas. So Katyayani Maas, during Katyayani Maas, the gopis all pray to Krishna to get. Sorry, they all pray to Mother Katyayani to get Krishna as their husband. So they all prayed to get a good husband, and they all want Krishna as their husband. So you pray to Katyayani, who is the wife of Lord Shiva. Like Shiva can give you all benedictions in this world. So they pray to Katyayani. So what happened is, so our day used to perform this Katyayani Maas. Every day they used to go in the cold. It's in winter time. They used to go up to neck deep in the Yamuna river, and for the entire month they had saltless khichdi. That's all they had. And then they used to glorify the names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the end of it, they went to take bath. But on the last day, they took bath with all the nice clothes, because like Diwali comes and stuff, you just have nice clothes. And then they left their clothes down, and Krishna came and stole their clothes away. Now that is significant why Krishna stole the clothes away, because there's quite a few reasons. One of the reasons is that, see, they were very attached because this was their fancy clothes they received on their birthday, or some special guest gave it to them, and so they used the best clothes that they had. They had attachment to it. So Krishna came and stole away that attachment that they had. That's one of the things. The other reason that Krishna stole it is that it's the excess baggage. So in order to worship the Supreme Person of God and get him as your consort, you can't have additional baggages. So Krishna took the clothes there. The other reason being is that when they were worshipping, they said, Sarvam Shri Krishna Apanam Ashtu. What it means is, I'm offering this to Krishna. So the other reason behind that, the other meaning behind that is another name for Draupadi, and the child when she was born was Krishna. So then Krishna took this because we're offering it to Krishna. So the clothes that they got was when Draupadi was being derobed. This is the cloth that they offered to, not to Krishna, but to Draupadi. Because Draupadi was terrible by him. So, like that, so these are the one of a very nice meaning of that pastime. The other one is, the next verse is, I offer pranams to the foremost of thieves, who steals Srimati Radharani's heart, who steals the dark luster from the fresh rain clouds, and who steals all the sins and sufferings. Now, anybody would object to Krishna stealing your sins? Not me. So you would welcome him wholeheartedly. Please come and steal my sins. And our sins are so huge that it makes the Meru mountain looks like a mustard seed. Huge amount of sin. And Krishna comes and wipes it out just like that. So Krishna can, if you perform this vrat very nicely, Krishna the butter thief, when you start chanting, now what does the first part of it, the first line of the song goes as Navanita Chora. What does that mean? What does Navanita mean? Navanita means, anybody knows? Yeah, sure. Look at the translations. Navanita means butter. So butter has two qualities. In its milk format, it is pure white. So when your heart becomes white, when your heart becomes pure white in goodness, and your heart becomes soft like butter, then Makkan Choro comes steal your heart away. Makkan Choro comes steal your heart away. So that's a nice analogy. Oh, and Radharani was constantly crying for when there was a separation between her and Krishna. So Radharani's heart was stolen by Krishna, and that is how we all eventually will become. When we become on the highest level, when we give our heart to Krishna, Krishna comes and steals our heart away. So Makkan Choro comes steal our heart away. That's what we want, right? Krishna left Vrindavan and went away. Radharani was constantly crying. The gopis were constantly crying, and with this great separation, they enjoyed the highest love that is available. Because see, when Radharani is very pleased with somebody, what does she give you? When Radharani is very pleased with you, what she gives you?
Krishna.
And grace. And then she gives you to Krishna. When Krishna is very pleased with you, what do you get? Radharani. He gives you Radharani. And then when Radharani is very pleased with you, you get Krishna. And then Krishna gets very pleased with you, you get Radharani. And when Radharani is very pleased with you, you get Krishna. But now, when both Radharani and Krishna are very, very pleased with you, what do you get?
Gonita.
You get separation, Gonita. That's right. You get separation. Because the highest mellow of love is that love in separation. Everybody knows that, right? The highest mellow of love is in separation, not in union. It's not in union. So the highest love that Radharani has, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, is the love in separation. So that's why Radharani's heart has been given away, like that. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sin. Such an astonishing, wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere. So the thing is that we are constantly going, and we're telling everybody, please come and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please worship the Supreme Personality. Chant the holy name once. So when you chant the holy name once, what happens? You want to chant it twice. Then you will chant for 2 minutes, you will chant for 2 hours. And then from there, the Lord will steal away by His holy name, He'll steal away your voice. And when your voice is stolen away by the Lord, He comes and then He steals away your mind, and you're constantly thinking about the Lord. And then when you're constantly thinking about the Lord, He comes and steals away your heart. He steals away your consciousness. He steals away your intelligence. So the important thing is that the Lord comes as a thief and He takes away everything that you want Him to have anyway. So even when Prahlad Maharaj, he was chanting, from his chanting, he invoked the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's how powerful that holy name is. He even broke the pillar by the holy names. By the chanting of the holy names, Haridas Thakur was whipped in 22 marketplaces. You all know the story, right? In 22 marketplaces, but he felt not a thing. But he felt, I more than deserve this because I tolerated aparad to the holy name. I have tolerated aparad to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yes, Gajendra was another one who chanted the holy name. He called the holy name of the Lord once. You all know who Gajendra is, right? Who was caught by the crocodile. Right? So by calling the holy name, he said that when Gajendra, who was caught by this crocodile, for about 100 years the battle took place. And finally, Gajendra, what he did was he put both his hands, and he screamed for Vishnu. It says that, see, when somebody calls the Lord, he purifies his hand, he takes his chada, he sits on Garuda, and he goes. But when Gajendra was calling, the Lord didn't even put his chapels and properly, he just was running. The Garuda was finding it hard to keep up with the Lord. Just to go and save his devotee. Just to save his devotee, that even Garuda was struggling to keep up with the Lord. He was just running to Gajendra, who was caught up by this crocodile. Gajendra's story is a very, very wonderful story. You cut the noose of Yamuraj. Anybody can tell me which famous pastime that is? You cut the noose, that's so famous that it appears in the Bhagavatam. The noose. Who came and cut the noose of it? Yes, so then it's Pasha. The noose of Yamuraj is called Pasha. Right? Who was caught by that? Ajamil. Remember? At the time of death, the Yamudras came and they tied him up with the Pasha and they were pulling him. And he screamed for his son Narayan. And because he screamed by the son of Narayan, Vishnu Ruras came. And he was saved by the noose of Yamuraj. So that's a very nice pastime. But the dreadful noose of, then also we are all tied up, bound up by this noose of material nature. We are bound by this noose of material nature. Just by calling the holy names of the Lord, you can become free from the shackles of this material existence. And you slash everyone's material bondage. Right? So then if you call, but this holy names has so much of shakti, so much of potency, that it cuts our material bondage. So the thing is that to go back to the spiritual world, one has to give up two things, our bondage and our karma. If we're full of pap, we cannot go back to the spiritual world. So Krishna comes and steals our pap, our sins, and he cuts our bondage in this material world. Like I said, our attachment for this garbage that we have. Because if it hinders our progress going back to Godhead, it is garbage. We're so attached to so many things. In fact, even when we chant, we're looking at our phones, our iPhones. We're so attached to it. It is in hindrance. It's an anchor to this material world. And Krishna comes and cuts that anchor to this material world, and he liberates us. But let's see about being bound pastime. And you slash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotee. Anybody knows that pastime? But you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. What pastime is that? Damodar, Kartik, yes. So Krishna never allows himself to be bound, because he becomes your slave. Literally. Once he is bound by your love, the Lord is under your control. So therefore it's very, very careful that Mayadev is very careful that Lord doesn't become subjugated by the devotee unless you become serious. So the thing is that if you're looking at it, Mother Yasoda bound up baby Krishna, Damodar. Damodar means be bound, right? So he was bound up, and because it was tied by the mother's love, even Krishna could not release that. So what did he do? He said, okay, now that I'm bound up, let me look for like-minded people. And he looked around and he looked, so which is the other, bound up personalities there? And who did he see? Who's the other personality you saw that were bound up by material nature? The two Amila Arjuna trees, right? The two sons of Kuvera, right? And so then he said, even if I'm bound up, my devotees need to be released. So Krishna didn't release himself. He pulled that grinding mortar, even though he was bound to the grinding mortar. He did not release and think of, first thing you think, when I'm bound up, I'm going to release myself. He looked first and see which one of my loving devotees are bound up. And he pulled that bound up mortar while he was still bound up, and he released both his devotees. And when these two devotees paid obeisance to him, meaning they fell down, when they paid obeisance to him, then Krishna felt good bliss. Because he released them from their bondage, from the bound of nature. So this is Makanchori. He releases us. He steals away our bondage. And when these two were down, then his father came. His father came and released him. Right? So now the significance there. What's the other significance about that? When we are bound by our mother, who's our mother? Durga Devi, Maya, in this material world. If we take the holy name to our tongue, our father, who is Krishna, will come and he will release us from this material world. The example being is that when Krishna was born, his father and mother was bound in the prison. So once Vasudeva picked Krishna up, what happens? Vasudeva was bound by the hands and even by the neck like an animal, it says. But what happened is, as soon as he picked up Krishna, the shackles fell. So when you pick up the holy names and lift it up to your tongue, the shackles of this material world will be released by our Father. Right? And then what happens, it says, that as soon as that happened, what happened? The doors opened. The doors opened. And as soon as we take the holy name, it will be released from the shackles, and the doors to the spiritual world will be opened. Immediately. And then what happened next is the guards were all asleep. So what's the significance there? The guards were all asleep. Is that when the holy name comes to your tongue and the shackles fall on and the doors to the spiritual world opens up, all our senses, our calm, krodh, lobh, all those things will be fast asleep. Understood? All of them will go to sleep. Right? All these bad activities, all these anatas in our heart will fall asleep. And then Krishna went outside. So when you go outside, what was happening it was full moon. Right? Astami. It was full moon. So in the dark of night, when we are being released, we'll go out into this material world to cross over the ocean of misery. This ocean is known as full of darkness. But avidya will be there as a spiritual master. The moon was shining brightly. Raja Vidya Raja Goyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Right? Through the torchlight of knowledge. The shining moon will show us how to go back to Krishna. And then Mother Yasoda then Krishna was taken to the banks of the river. So went to the banks of the river, and what happened is, when they were trying to cross the river, Vasudeva got into the river rose first and then subsided. Now why did the river rise first? So material nature will be able to check your sincerity out. So first what will happen, Maya will test you. She will rise up. But also I heard this when I was doing Brajmal Parikram. Why did the Yamuna rise first?
Because the lotus feet of Krishna.
Because Krishna was coming right there. The Lord of her heart was right there. Krishna was right there. And so she wanted to get mercy from Krishna. So she rose up. And Krishna put his leg out of the basket and touched Jamuna. And Jamuna just went into great ecstasy and she went down. Right? And she went down. And then the river parted. Right? So when the river parted, what happened is then they were able to cross the river. So when this happens, first the test will be there. And if you're sincere, then the river will come down. And the river will come down low. Now if you're looking at, I think it is Venkateshwara, I think it is. Why is that significant? I think in Venkateshwara, he's telling my devotees, you come to my lotus feet, and I'll keep the ocean of misery no higher than your knee. So you can easily cross over the ocean of misery and you come back to Goloka and Dhamma. You can easily cross over. If I keep the ocean of misery below your knee, how hard is it to cross this ocean of misery? Right? So then Krishna says, listen, Ramachandra said, you come to me and I'll build you a bridge over the ocean. Krishna says that he who comes to me, I'll dry up the ocean of misery. Ramachandra will build you a bridge over. Maryadya Purushottam. Right? Leela Purushottam said, no, don't even bother. I will dry up the ocean. I will dry up the ocean. I'll take you back to God. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always in deep ecstasy, in an ocean of ecstasy. And we'll take you over into the ocean of ecstasy. There is two oceans. There's the ocean of misery, and that ocean is endless ocean. It's impossible for the jiva to cross. But by the Lord's mercy, what the Lord says, Sarva Dharma Parijam Mamikam Saranam Brajam. Surrender to me and I'll protect you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parameshwar, Purushottam Maas is guaranteeing you, do not fear. What is there to fear? What is there to fear? Surrender to me and I'll protect you from all sinful reactions. Whatever you committed for, see, when you leave your body, you leave your body here, but you take your path with you, your sins. Your sins is carried with you. Right? So, but when you want to go back to God, you can't take your sins with you. Krishna comes and he just wavers the whole thing. Don't worry, it's not, we don't consider anything. And then in Bhagavatam it says that, this ocean of misery, which is impossible to cross, the Lord makes it the size of a calf's hoof print. That's how small it is. And we're not even a cow's hoof print, because cow's hoof print is bigger. And I'll take you back home, back to God. So this is what Srila Prabhupada has blessed us with. This is what Srila Prabhupada has given us. How many of us can say that we would have known even 1% of what we know was not for Srila Prabhupada? We know Krishna, yes, as one another God. Right? But how many of us will know Krishna as the Supreme Person of Godhead? How many of us will know the opulence of the Supreme Person of Godhead? How many of us, when we come into this darkness, will have that moon, Vidya belonged by the Raja Vidya, by the moon, and guiding us to the spiritual world? That's why we are so indebted to Srila Prabhupada. That's why we're so indebted to Srila Prabhupada. So this song is so significant because the point is that we don't look at Krishna as a chore. Who wouldn't want this chore in their life? Tell me anybody. Oh stealer of my everything, oh thief. Today I've been, now then Bilva Mangala Thakur says, see, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of ignorance. So Bilva Mangala Thakur says, you are such a thief. You're not an ordinary thief. You're a Bhishma thief. Bhishma means terrible, or very, very humongous, huge thief. Like Bhishma, they have got the name Bhishma. Such a terrible thief. So what happened, he says, you are such a terrible thief. For all your sins, you need to go to a very dark, dirty and slimy prison. Right? And in that prison, you're going to get life imprisonment. Not 1 or 2 years, life imprisonment. And what is that prison?
Heart.
Yes, that prison of my heart. If my heart is very dirty, slimy, there's all impurities in my heart for a long, long time. And I'm going to take you, I'm going to tie you by the pash of bhakti pash. Remember, Yamaraj got that pash that takes you and go, but I'm going to imprison you. So Krishna was released from the prison of Kamsa. Now we're taking and imprisoning him in our heart, in the prison of our heart. So, which is very fearful due to terrible darkness. And Krishna says, okay, your heart is so dark, I am so dark, when you go up there, we both will be in darkness. So you won't be able to see me in your heart. If your heart is dark and I'm dark, what is there? So Krishna, then Brahma said, yes, the heart is dark, and you'll be there for such a long time that you'll have no choice but to clean the place if you're going to live there. So you're going to clean my heart because it's dirty. When I imprison you in a dark place, you're going to have to clean the place if you're staying such a long time. So you're going to clean my heart. And not to worry, when you go there, my heart will become full of effulgence. I will enjoy great enlightenment. And you will receive appropriate punishment. So that will be your punishment. Life imprisonment in my heart. So how many of us wouldn't want Krishna to be in our heart eternally? Because that's where Krishna wants to be. Krishna is always in his devotee's heart. Krishna is always, he says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I am constant in the heart of my devotees. But that's another pastime that I will talk about during Kartik, about Krishna telling that to Bhakti Devi. When he told Bhakti, today you're going to see a very special pastime. Today I'm going to be bound by my mother's love. But Bhakti said, what is that? Something unusual? You are always bound by the love of your devotees. Then Krishna said, no. Today, I'm saying I'm normally bound. My heart is bound by the devotees. But today my whole body is going to be bound by the love of my mother. Anyway, that's for Kartik to come in the next couple of months. So, without further ado, thank you very much for the opportunity. Purushottam Maas ki
Jai.
Prabhu Thakur ki
Jai.
Makkan Chor ki
Jai.
Chorastikam ki
Jai.
So I think now that we understand a little bit about this pastime, our great poet here will be singing us. Who's singing? So maybe now we'll understand when they're singing the song, the glories of the song. And then it'll be a bhajan, not a sangeeta.
Raja Prasidam Navanita Govindanam Chadu Kulachoram
Raja Prasidam Navanita Choram Gopagananam Sadhu Kulachoram Raja Prasidam Navanita Choram Gopagananam Sadhu Kulachoram Jama Choram